Last night we continued watching a movie that's on Netflix. It's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I want to say Benicio del Toro, but he's the actor. Guillermo del Toro, he's the director. I don't really know what else he does, but or what else he did. But we started the movie day before yesterday, and starting out, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a great adaptation to the story. We're about 2/3 through, but so far I'm really enjoying it. I guess it won a Academy Award for Best Animated Picture in, I think it was 2022. So I can see why. The animation is really good. The story adaptation is, I think, honest. I'm used to the Disney adaptation. I don't really know. I don't know what the original story is, or the origins behind it. But the Disney adaptation is, very fairy tale, muted, I would say, with, doesn't want to be too edgy. This one, does not take any, I don't know what the word is. It doesn't hold back, I guess. Automatically, it's in Italy. It includes religion. They go to a church. There's a priest. Geppetto, he's mourning. I won't give away too much if you haven't seen it. He's mourning the death of his son. He's getting drunk. He's really in bad shape. It's very honest to the human condition. That's what I really liked about it. But so that's what we did last night. My wife thinks it's a little bit dark for the kids, and maybe. At the same time, I was thinking about this. My generation watched stuff like the Jim Henson movies. Those terrified me. And what's the other one? Never Ending Story. That movie scared the crap out of me, and I don't know why. I think the dragon. Oh, what's his name? Atreyu. I just know that because that's the metal band. They named their band Atreyu. But that movie really scared me. So I think it's not so bad. But I'm glad I was able to watch it. Netflix has been cracking down on password sharing, and we share passwords with my brother, so the account's in his account. And Lindsay and I have been able to watch Netflix shows by basically just connecting my phone to the TV, and for whatever reason that works, but it wouldn't work on our Google TV. It would say you have to verify your household or whatever. But we had that workaround, and now it doesn't work for the regular Netflix, but the kids' Netflix, it does work. So that's cool. Yeah, if you have a moment, definitely recommend checking out that movie. I was thinking about sharing some more stories of, growing up, my unique, I guess, situation. I forget a lot of the times that my upbringing is maybe much different, more than likely, and definitely much different than a lot of people's upbringing in the United States. The majority of the United States lives, east of St. Louis. So, yeah, life there really fascinates me. It's like a foreign thing to me. Like, what's it like to live in a place like Ohio? Like, a lot of people think like Ohio, but to me, I'm like, what happens in Ohio? Besides, like, I don't know, 10 million people live in there, or whatever it is. Also, where did the name Cincinnati come from? Cleveland, Columbus. I guess Columbus makes sense. There's a lot of things named after. I imagine it's Christopher Columbus. But yeah, most people in the United States grew up either there or, I guess, in Southern California in general, along the coast. So, like, big cities, really interesting to me. But yeah, my upbringing, much different. Grew up in Santa Fe around the time when I was, a kid. Santa Fe had about, we're out there taking out the trash right now. Santa Fe had about, I would say, 50,000 people. Today, I think the population of Santa Fe is around 90,000, if I remember correctly. So, it's growing. But Santa Fe is definitely a very unique city. I think it's even their tourism motto is the city different. So, but yeah, New Mexico, very, very much unknown. You ask somebody what they know about New Mexico from, I don't know, Virginia. Imagine they would say something like, it's probably like Arizona, I guess, right? Dude, everybody's doing landscaping today. And everybody has a little mini motor. It's like a chorus of weed whackers over here. They're like harmonizing. It's crazy. Sounds of Albuquerque. Small motors, big diesel truck motors. Can't wait till everything's electric. It's like quieter. Whatever. But yeah, so very weird upbringing. And to me that was normal. Like I always joke around about how in Santa Fe burning Zozobra was like a normal event. If you don't know what Zozobra is, Google it. It's a giant puppet made out of paper that we fill with our worries and care and our worries and whatever else. People put like their divorce papers or speeding tickets or whatever else pisses them off and makes them sad. They'll put them in this Zozobra and then we'll burn it. There's a fire dancer that dances in front of this puppet as it groans. It's the weirdest thing if you're not from here. But, like, to me, that was just regular, like, life, normal. And I always thought it was interesting as I grew older and people would come here and they would be really excited about it or weirded out. That's just like life, right? So, yeah, things like that. Just normal. One piece of New Mexico culture that I missed out on, which I'm not sure why, is like the religious piece. Most of New Mexico, I think, at least when I was growing up, maybe not so much now. I think it's shifting a bit. I don't think people are less religious. I think they're just different religious. But primarily, New Mexico is a Catholic place, and that's because of the Spanish influence. Spanish expeditions were around here from like 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. What is it called? Evangelizing. Bringing religion to the native people. So their influence definitely stuck around. And when I was a kid, most of my friends were Catholic, but I wasn't. I didn't really have a faith, really. Like, we weren't devout or anything. My parents didn't go to church. My grandparents were divorced, and my grandma every time we would pass a church, she would make the sign of the cross, which I don't know what that practice's history is. She would do that. My grandpa appeared to be less devout. Like, he didn't talk about his faith all the time, but I know he did go to church. He was a musician. He would play, but his faith was more personal to him. But both of them Catholic. I think I know my parents grew up Catholic, but they just didn't bring us into it. So I did feel a little left out as a kid. All my friends were doing their first Holy Communions, and I didn't. I was, you don't ever want to be left out. That's how I felt like I wanted to do that. But then my parents started to become part of different faiths. I think my parents have always been sort of searching. When I was 9, one of my aunts started to attend a church that was, I don't know how to put this. I was trying to think of something nice to say, but pretty insane. I guess I could say whatever I want, right? It's a Potter's house, and looking back now, I'm like, it's like a cult. It seems like, but they're very outspoken. They're very charismatic. I believe they do the Pentecostal thing where they, if you're not familiar with this, Google it. But they They do like what's called speaking in tongues, which means they basically blabber gibberish as they pray, but it's supposed to mean something. I think it's supposed to mean like it's supposed to be a different language given to you by the Holy Spirit, and it's supposed to be like it's a prayer. They're praying, but like in some other tongue. But really, when you're listening to it, you're just blabbering. You're just saying la 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 over and over. Like that's not a language. So I don't know. But they took that a step further, and they were very much like hell-centric, condemning. Like you got to do this now. You're gonna go to hell every Halloween. So they didn't celebrate Halloween, but they would celebrate during that time to try to save quote unquote sinners. And they would put on this, like, it was a haunted house, but it was essentially like this walk through sort of thing, and there were scary things like car accidents and all sort of stuff, and see somebody on a stretcher, and then like it would progress through a story, and then they would be dead at the judgment throne of God, and then like God would be talking to them and would then deliver a sentence, and it's like, oh, you listened to me and you did what I said, so you can be in heaven. But then if you didn't, you would go to hell. And then that would be like the next scene would be hell, and it'd be like horrifying, like people crying, and it was just traumatic as a kid, like really horrible. But yeah, that's what they would do. And then at the end there would be an opportunity for you to like accept Christ or whatever. But yeah, that was fun. My dad didn't really like that, so we didn't really attend that church too much, but eventually we did become part of a slightly less traumatic but still pretty, out there denomination called Assemblies of God. But yeah, that's what we did. We were at church all the time. Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. If I remember correctly, Sunday morning was the regular church. Sunday night was a different church. So there was 2 Sunday churches. Tuesday was Royal Rangers, which is like a Assemblies of God version of Boy Scouts. It was more militarized. We stood in ranks at attention, but it was like very much like military. He would present colors, and the commander would kind of talk to us in like a military kind of sounds. So that was on Tuesdays. Wednesdays was a midweek service. Thursdays was youth group for like 6th grade and up. My youth group only had like 4 people in it. It was me, maybe 5. There was 2 girls, me, and another boy. His name was Carlos. And we would do Bible studies, and we did a skit for like the main church or whatever. But yeah, we were at church all the time. So anyways, that's my little story. I think this is fun since I don't have really time to research something and like dive into something. I can still sort of be creative and sort of get the things off my mind that are on my mind, share the things. I like sharing. But anyway, hope you enjoyed.